accuracy, distance, how to get more distance, how to be more accurate. One thing I want to talk about right now is ball flight and kind of trajectory. You guys know what trajectory means. Obviously how the ball flies through the air, low or high, okay? And obviously different conditions will dictate different trajectories. If it's windy, we want to try to keep that ball low, okay? If we want to go for distance, we want to get that ball nice and high. So one thing I want to talk about is angle of attack. Okay, that's a technical term, and basically what that means is that's the angle at which your golf club comes into impact. So the average amateur, their golf club comes in on a descending blow with their driver. So I actually hit the ball probably 5 or 6 degrees down. Okay, so I actually hit down on my driver. Most guys on the PGA Tour, Rory McIlroy, Bubba Watson, they hit the ball so far because they actually have an ascending angle of attack. So they actually hit up on the golf ball 1, 2, 3, even 4 degrees. Okay? Now what I want to get to you guys here is the analogy would be a tennis forehand. I know, Tucker, you play tennis. So when you hit down on a tennis ball or a ping pong ball, you're creating backspin, okay? And obviously as that ball goes through the air, it's not going to fly as far as a ball that has topspin. So if you were to hit up on a tennis ball and turn it over, you get topspin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give 2 examples here, and then I want you guys to try. And I'm going to simulate your angle of attack by one little tip that you guys can use on the golf course, and that's the position of your tee in the ground. Sounds pretty simple, right? So I want to hit a low ball, okay? So I'm going to put the ball pretty far down on the tee, okay? Just probably an inch out of the ground, maybe not even that much. And I'm going to try to hit down on it and simulate a low ball flight, a ball that bores right through the wind. I pulled that off pretty well, okay? So you see my tee is low to the ground, and that kind of simulates a down hit on your driver. Now, take the tee and really tee it up much higher, okay? And the sweet spot in most modern drivers is at the top of the club. So now I'm going to get the feeling of hitting up on the golf ball to simulate a much higher flight. Not exactly the direction I wanted, but the trajectory is what I wanted, a much higher flight, okay? So once again, thanks. Angle of attack is the angle at which you approach impact. And the more descending, okay, the more lower your ball flight and the more backspin you're going to create, okay? The more ascending your angle of attack is, the more topspin you're going to create and the more distance you're going to create going through the air. So, John, why don't you come up and actually, Armin, why don't you come up and try it since you're a right-handed player here. So I'm going to tee this ball down nice and low for you, okay? I want you to just take a normal golf swing, and I think the position of the ball and the tee will simulate a much lower hit, much lower flight through the air. Good. Great shot.
Wow.
Very nice. Okay. Now, we're going to tee the ball up much higher. I want you to take a normal swing. Okay. Once again, I think the position of the tee and the ball is going to simulate a much higher ball flight and some more topspin. Excellent. Okay. So you guys see a simple thing, just as where the tee is placed on the ground, can really simulate and affect your